and I'm the founder and CEO of Product School. Product School is the global leader in product management training. I'm also the best-selling author of the Product Book. Today, I'm going to talk about the future of product management. But before I talk about the future, let me quickly mention the past. Product management has been around for a very, very long time. However, it's only until the last 5 to 10 years when the industry started really recognizing product management as a function and appreciating the skill set and the career path. Because before, product management was this hybrid thing that nobody really know what to put. Is this a marketing thing? Is it an engineering thing? Do we really need products? Well, today we all agree that product management is not just a tech thing. It's not just for tech companies. It goes way beyond that. Pick an industry, doesn't matter. If a company has more than one employee, they're probably using some sort of software internally to collaborate more effectively. And not to mention that most of these companies will also be using websites or mobile apps to showcase their products or services, sell them, or deliver them. So for every single piece of software that you can imagine, you need some engineers to build and maintain that, and eventually you probably need a product manager to make sense of all of this and coordinate the different teams as your company grows. So this is me 6 years ago in San Francisco when I was just getting started. And a lot of people ask me, but why are you doing this? What is Product School and why do you need to teach people? This is not just an idea type of thing. You don't have to be Steve Jobs and be very inspirational and visionary, and those are the type of product managers. Well, no. And my answer was very simple. I created this because this is a solution to my own problem. I come from an engineering background. I'm a software engineer, studied computer science, and probably like many of you who are watching this video, nobody taught you anything about business in an engineering school, which is, I think, a shame because, I was supposed to be a junior engineer and then an engineer, then a senior engineer, maybe a principal engineer, but I wish I had asked the question or someone had told me more about different alternatives and how I can leverage engineering to collaborate with other teams in order to build something, in order to build a company, in order to build a website, in order to, sell something. But unfortunately, it's only until I moved to Silicon Valley to study business. I did a master's degree in business at Berkeley when I realized that, first of all, there are so many people like myself that have a technical background that are thinking business, which was great and very refreshing. And second, there are many other people who have the opposite problem. They come from a traditional business background, such as management consulting, investment banking, marketing, and they want to work in tech or they want to be closer to the action, but they're feeling very intimidated because they don't have that technical background and they think that engineers do their thing, they don't communicate. So it was this weird situation where business people thought that they had to convince engineers with their beautiful ideas and business plans, so engineers would take graciously those ideas and start working for them for almost for free, right? So obviously that doesn't work anymore. And anyway, after spending enough time in an engineering school and also enough time in a business school, I realized that I wasn't really learning product management stuff, which is right in between. So I decided to build a school that bridges that gap and gets the best out of each of those schools. So 6 years forward, Product School is the largest community for product people. We have over 1 million product people there around the world. And we put together a lot of free resources for the community with the only goal of training the next generation of product leaders. So we produce over 1,000 events per year. We produce 5 annual conferences in San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles, Seattle, and London. And we also deliver certificate programs across the world and online for people who are trying to break into product management or existing product managers who want to level up their career. So let's talk about the future of product management. What is this? Well, first of all, this is a report that we are launching this month, and it's based on data. So we surveyed our community. We got around 2,000 responses from different product leaders from across the world. And the questions were very intriguing. The questions were about what's the future for us? What's next? As product managers, we're always thinking about what's next for our product in terms of what's next feature, what's the next big thing that we are going to build. But wait a second, what's next for us as individuals and as an industry? And that's what we are answering here. In this presentation, I'm going to highlight some of the main data points, but also I'll give you access to the report for free so you can dig a little bit deeper. So first of all, where do product managers come from? Obviously, they come from anywhere, but in terms of the responses that we got, and also the job demand that is out there, we realized that obviously the U.S. is the main country in terms of demand for product managers, but it's also good to see that there are other countries, South America, we can see Mexico and Brazil are growing fast. Europe, London is very strong, Germany as well. Nigeria in Africa is the main producer of product managers for the region. And then obviously India, and then we have Singapore for the Southeast Asia. So we know product managers are hungry because in a way, we want our products to grow. We want the best for our users. We want the best for our team. So we also want the best for us. And to the question about what do you value the most in order to commit to a company and to a product, other than the growth opportunities, which it makes sense. It was not surprising to me. I really like to see the answers 2 and 3 that talk more about the company culture and the impact that you make. With this, I don't think that the answer is, oh, you have to be a user or a customer of your product. There are some cases where it's impossible, but what's really critical is that as a product manager, you really care and like your product. I always joke with some product management friends that nobody's really going to believe in your product more than yourself. You can't expect your engineers, designers, or marketers to be the ones really getting excited about the product. It's the product manager itself. It's not. So the same way we talk about building products that achieve product market fit, in this case, we're talking about product managers working for companies or products that have the right cultural fit. And I think finding that purpose is really, really critical in order to retain the best talent in the product management industry. So we say that product management is in demand. Product management is hot. And this month alone, there are 2 new reports. One is from Glassdoor and the other one is from the Global Economic Forum that both say that product management is one of the top 7 jobs of the future. And obviously today we know it's not a secret that it's one of the most in-demand skills. So one of the stats that we were able to extrapolate from the results, it was that almost 75% of the companies that we surveyed said that they are planning to hire at least one product manager within the next 12 months. That's huge. Obviously, product management is very strongly related to the demand for engineering jobs, because the more engineers, the more specialists out there, the more managers, the more generalists. So usually a healthy ratio is 7 to 10 engineers per manager. So obviously there's also a huge demand for engineers, data scientists, designers, marketers, and all of that is also pushing the product management industry forward. So why do we think, or why do product managers say that this is one of the best jobs in the world? Well, obviously I'm biased. I'm also a product person myself, and part of what we do is helping people get that first product management job. But the good thing about it, if you look at these numbers, is that people stick to it. So once you, and I know it's hard to get that first product management job, but it's true that once you are part of the circuit, you want to be part of it and stay for a long time. Why? Well, the part of the information that we extracted is obviously quantitative, but we also did some qualitative research to really understand the why behind certain answers. And what a lot of employers told us is that, well, yes, you want to be a manager at the end of the day. You are a manager of product, you are a manager of people, you are a manager of whatever, but in general, when you are a manager, you're probably excited about communicating with people and leading teams and making sure that everyone is on the same page. So that's technology agnostic. Today, Ruby on Rails, PHP, Python are some of the most popular technologies, and that's fine, but tomorrow those will change. What's not going to change is the fundamentals behind working with people. And if you made the conscious decision to work as a manager or as a leader and be working alongside people, then that won't really change even technology changes. So it's really good to see that if you're thinking about becoming a product manager, people who are already product managers stay there for the long term. And very related to that is, okay, but what are what are product managers thinking about their future in the next 5 years? And the first time I looked at the results, I thought, well, it's kind of a repetitive question and answer. But then if you analyze a little bit deeper, you see that there is a very interesting relationship between answers number one and answer number two. What I mean by this is that there's a lot of product managers out there who want to build their own products for themselves. The same way, there are a lot of founders that eventually will become product managers at larger organizations. And the reason why is because the mindset is very similar. At the end of the day, we're talking about collaborating with people to build something bigger and better than ourselves. And when you are thinking about early stage startups, well, company equals product. It's all about finding product market fit. Obviously, as the company grows, there are many other challenges that are not just about product, like recruiting, legal, compliance, finance, operations, and others. But at the very, very beginning, we're talking about the same thing, building something that users love it so much that they can tell other users and eventually can become customers. So it's more of a personal choice depending on your circumstances. If you want to do this at a larger scale in an organization where there's also obviously more resources and structure, or you want to do it at a smaller scale for yourself as a founder. But it's good to know that the options are always there and there is no right or wrong answer. And it's not like if you commit to something today, you cannot switch later. This happens all the time, and it's not that you have to start one way or the other. It can happen anytime, and we see it a lot. So let's talk about skills, because part of the future of product management is how do you level up yourself? And we broke this down between hard skills and soft skills. The hard skills are top three are artificial intelligence, data, and UX design. And we talked to employers to confirm this and understand why. And the common answer was, well, we're looking for athletes, meaning today the product manager is not just a manager. It's not just a visionary who's going to come up with the idea and everyone's going to follow. It's someone who's going to be as self-sufficient as possible. And yes, you are going to be collaborating with teams such as design, data, engineering, and so on. But let me give you an example. Today we're talking about data. As a product manager, one of your key responsibilities is to identify the metrics that are going to drive success for your product and keep track of those. And some of those metrics can be easily accessible by yourself. You don't need a data scientist to give you that information. So if you could go and get that information for yourself, that's a huge win for many reasons. One is you are saving your team some time. And also, when you go and talk to your team about more advanced metrics that you need from them, you're going to be able to have a more intelligent conversation because you've been there, you've done that. So, you are in a more advanced situation, not just to discuss other stuff, but also the team will connect with you and will, give you their respect because they know that you really care and you know what you're talking about. And the same example that I just said about data can apply to UX design. So today, there are so many low-code or no-code tools that can be used to build quick and dirty prototype to better communicate with your designers without having to go for pixel-perfect designs and more sophisticated tools. And that's kind of the mindset that we are seeing, and it's more and more and more common that companies don't want to sacrifice, and they want really you to know enough about coding, enough about data, enough about UX, and enough about pretty much what's coming next, which in this case is also artificial intelligence. On the other hand, when we look at soft skills, it doesn't really change much. Those three, leadership, communication, and creativity, it's been around forever, and it's not just for product, which makes sense because as you grow in your career, let's say you become a manager of managers, you are going to be a little more disconnected from the tools and the hard skills, and it's more about really empowering the next generation of managers and coaching them and listening to them. So leadership, communication, and creativity will never get old, and this is something that is going to catch up with us as product leaders. So it's not an option to see which one I pick in order to grow my career. The correct answer here is all of the above. So obviously it doesn't need to happen tomorrow, but that's something to know because it's not optional anymore. This role is extremely demanding. I know it's hot and cool and everyone loves it from the outside, but for the ones who are in the trenches on a daily basis, we know that is not bells and whistles all day. And let's think even bigger. So we also asked the question about 10 years from now. Is product management really going to stay relevant? Is it going to continue being hot as it is today? And apparently, yes, that's what the survey said. But I also wanted to reflect a little bit deeper into this answer. And who knows what the title will be in the future? Maybe they decide to call this brand manager or user manager or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter because I believe in the fundamentals of management. I believe in the fundamentals of working with people to build something together, regardless of the technology that it's cool or relevant these days. So in that regard, this is something to stay. The same way this is not new. It's been around forever. It's somehow now it became much more popular, which is great for all of us. Training has never been better in history for anyone who either wants to become a PM or is already a PM and wants to grow. But the good news is that this is going to stay forever, and even if they change the name. So last but not least, we're talking about industries. And this was extremely refreshing for me because living in Silicon Valley, I think that sometimes we see too many startups that are trying to solve problems that not too many people care, or maybe they are just for the 1%. So when you try to think a little bit bigger, you realize that as product managers, we're also problem solvers, and we get excited about solving the biggest possible problems and making the biggest possible impact in the world. And you don't see any of like a known startup in this category. You see problems related to access to transportation and mobility. You see access to health and better health, access to better food, agriculture, water, and that's it. That's exactly what we need to be focused on as product leaders. So this was also a very interesting data point. So if you want to get the full report, you can do it for free. You can just go to this website, futureofproductmanagement.com, or scan the QR code and you get automatic access. Also, if you want to learn more about Product School or connect with me, you can do it on LinkedIn, or you can go to our website, productschool.com. Thank you very much.